All right. I can't really decide where to begin tonight. I don't think I'll be doing a very long video tonight. But basically, I guess what I'll get into is just, here's the thing. The president is talking about communism and how he wants to basically socialize the United States of America so that we, that's an incentivelist system, first of all, and there's just no way it could ever work. And in a way, I don't even really want to talk about it because then you go too far into things that um, are less relevant to things that are very pressing. And you know, then you think about it, and it's not um, without merit on those levels either. So I mean, there's just what I'm actually saying right now is the fact that there is too much stuff going on right now in the world to even sit here and be able to logically take this stuff in. And I can just tell you right now, there is banks print money of untold magnitudes. They have set up the system so that they automatically win. And how you know that this is the case is if or if not there's a central bank in place. It's very simple. And that's not going to be anything that you ever hear from very many people in life at this time period. However, it's becoming more of a known fact. There's definitely there's definitely plenty of people out there aware of what's going on. You would have to research history to know the facts, and the truth of the situation is that there is definitely money being siphoned out of this government due alone to marketing alone. Because here's what I say. We've had national banks in the past that had limited amounts of time in power. This central bank, which is actually that's what it is, a central bank, has been in power for approximately 100 years now. More actually exact, to be precise, 100 years. And that's longer than what these banks, central banks of the past, they were called national banks or whatever, have stood. And what is this basically? Basically what it is it's a group of people that have taken stock in the actual banking industry, and then they determine what's a good system, but they don't do it with congressional approval. They're like kind of like a kid that like somebody let take control of something real important, and basically was like, hey, trust me with it, and just trust me. And so I mean, it's a hard thing to understand, but it's a known fact that banks are in control of the Federal Reserve. Okay, so yeah. No, it is. It's a known fact. It's not, to my knowledge, it's not considered to be anything unknown. I mean, that's why it's called. That's why it's called that. That's why it's called a central bank. But either way, I just want you to understand right now that a central bank is completely unnecessary to the advancement of society. Because all that happens is listen here. As soon as you start taking away power from Congress over anything, especially money, it's already a transition of wealth. Problem is, whenever we first started this country, we always had central banks. And that was a natural fact of life at the time. And so, I mean, I don't know. I didn't know or understand how the system worked. All I know is that I myself was in the process of making money in a market that got destroyed while I was making money in this market, or whatever expertise of business that I was in, and I don't want to go into that, but there I was, and just watching and seeing how my client base shifted, and it just didn't make any sense to me, and but either way, you know, I come to find out that the way this whole thing sets up is basically, man, it's crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy. So, either way, you would have to do a lot of research and find out. But you can find out. I mean, the information is out there. Okay? I'm going to make sure you understand that clearly. Not only just historical information, but, you know, facts of life. Oh, man, I'm going to have to turn this, off. Just excuse me for 1 second. Yep. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Either way, I needed to explain to you that anyways, it's this is a fact of life, okay? And man, it's crazy. It is absolutely just nuts to think that there's people running this place. And you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's not that it's crazy to think it. It's just it's crazy to think about how much they get away with. You know, for me. I mean, you know, just just the amounts of money that goes through this thing without anybody knowing. You know, who it goes to, how much is exactly getting made up, and what the real reasons for it are. However, you know, this was something that I never wanted to believe. I couldn't ever bring myself to believe that this much problems were going on. Okay, because I'm just going to explain to you right now. I have a vague understanding of what the value of money is, just vaguely. But I know, or at least I've always had an understanding of where our money supply was in relative terms to what the deficit was and what was being argued as far as amounts of money. And, you know, it's horrible out there, alright? You're talking, you know, not only just the amount of money that's going around, but what's being done with it. You know, if you could even imagine for 1 second how much problems this is actually wreaking on society as you know it right now, it's much worse than you can imagine. It's actually unbelievable how much crap these people are up to. Alright? And I'm just going to tell you right now straight up that they run drugs, they start wars from opposite sides of the ocean. they want your tax money. And the problem is that it would be excuse me, it would be bad enough if they just wanted, I'm sorry, I mean, this is hard to express, just a portion, you know what I mean, of your money. Okay? Oh man, this is obnoxious. That's obnoxious. Anyways, that's obnoxious. Oh, should have turned that off. Anyways, just a portion of your money. All right, that would be bad enough. And that's what I'm saying, because when it comes to your income tax, okay, first of all, the government has the power right now, or at least the people who are actively pursuing, tyranny at the highest levels, of being, much more higher than anyone else involved in this entire scheme, are basically in control of the money supply. So they don't have really any reason to want your tax money. I mean, at the end of the day, they can always inflate. And from what I understand, it was just a very small percentage of income tax revenue that actually paid for World War II. They mostly just inflated the money supply. That happens generally during war as well. And the thing is that from what I understand, I don't think they can just print money. I think there has to be some kind of premise. So I think generally they have to do some kind of horrible thing. But in times past, I believe that, especially during the Great Depression, there was a lot of contraction and a lot of expansion of the money supply done to such an extent that, even if their banks experienced losses, I think those losses were covered, and I don't think there was any congressional hearings over it. I don't know this, but for the amount of congressional hearings we had, they could have definitely printed up so much more money than that, and that's another thing I may need to research. And I think I will research that probably, but the fact of the matter is that they print up a lot more money than what is ever approved. Alright? A lot more money. I'm just going to explain this to you right now. When I say a lot more money, I mean a lot. You understand that? Alright. We're talking a lot of money. Talking a lot of money. Trillions of dollars is what they, but they usually have to have some kind of reason for it. But I'm telling you right now, here's how it goes. They've taken over control of the money supply by taking power away from Congress. By the time they've done that, they can already pull all kinds of schemes on the people. I mean, they've already taken the power away from Congress. So why is that? Well, because the money, you don't ever know how much this. All you know is when commodity prices go up, that inflation is occurring. But until then, you don't know anything, and it's been like that for a long time. And eventually, none of this money is going to be worth anything. So either way, the main problem at this point in time is the fact that it's the fact that these people have taken over the country, and now they're doing every single thing under the book to ruin people. And they're doing it through they're taking over the banks, and now they've taken over television, and they've taken over radio to a large extent. And who knows? I mean, there's a lot to it, but they've definitely these people have definitely done a lot, done a lot, and there's no telling where it ends or where it begins. I mean, I lose sight of it at times. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'll just put it to you like that. And I'm sorry for dragging on with this stuff, but I mean, they have got this thing to such an extent that they've got the money supply, the elections. Now they got control of the water supply, and so Congress is bought and paid for, but the money supply doesn't even get in control of the Congress for the most part. And so what else is going on? I mean, there's definitely a lot of tyranny going on. There's hospital problems, there's drug problems, And this isn't just a small problem, okay? There's a lot of people in prison at any given moment. There's a lot of problems out there. So I don't know how long I've been talking now, but either way, you're looking at a massive problem. And I don't know, I mean, I'll tell you right now, they know for a fact that the banks launder drug money. They know for a fact that they print money without anybody knowing. I mean, there's just no telling, exactly how much is going on at any given moment up there. It is a serious problem. It is a serious problem, and you're talking just vast amounts of power going through this thing. Is it scary? I mean, not as scary as just being alive in this crazy world. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna come back with a list of some more stuff that they've taken control of, because this is a subject that I'm just I keep thinking of more stuff. Shoot, man, the corporations, the prison industrial complex, the power supply, the water supply. I mean, the television, what you hear, what you see, what's advertised by these, I mean, who knows, but a lot. And somehow or another, they've got the authority to continue to come out on top. I'll tell you another thing too. This is something I'll be getting into more later on. They stole this last election, from what I can tell. I'm gonna tell you right now, there was some serious things that went down in this last election, and one of those things was I think they actually stole this election right out in broad daylight. And I don't know exactly how far this goes, but supposedly it was the delegate process that they took over. And basically what they did is they went in and they said, all right, well, we think you got too many people that are going to vote for Ron Paul or whatever. So basically what they did is they came in and they said, all right, well, now according to the rules changed. And they didn't just, they basically just came out and just said it. But instead of just saying it, they said, well, everybody's going to take a vote right now. And if you say this way, then say aye. And if you say this way, say no. And then they said, okay, well, everybody said it changes. and then turned out they got another video feed of this thing, and the guy was reading off a script, and this is supposedly was one of the most sweeping delegate alterations to the election process in the history of the United States. And this was supposedly the same process that allowed Ronald Reagan to edge out Henry Ford as an outsider, from what I understand. And so if this is actually true, I would say, the political process is trying to win out against this thing. And that would be desirable, okay, because we've got so many people in prison, all right, and that's a huge problem, okay, that's a huge problem. And not only is that a problem, but just in hospital infections alone a year, from what I understand, something to the effect of the most part of 1 million people, 800,000 people a year, from what I understand, are actually dying from hospital infections a year. And I don't know how these things are occurring, but I know that, I know from what I'm reading and from what I understand, that these hospital conglomerations are actually colluding at the top. And that would make sense because the banking industry has got to taking control of everything at this point that has serious value to it. I mean, you would only expect something like this to occur, but either way, if that's the case, I mean, of course, that's not a good field for anything like this to occur in. As well, they're well convinced that there's too many people in the world, and with that kind of power and that kind of mentality working together, it's a serious recipe for destruction. So either way, that's all I've got for tonight, and I'll be talking about some more things in the near future. As long as I can remember exactly what I was going to go into there. It would make it helpful for my next video, because I already have an idea what I want to talk about. But either way, I've done a few videos now. I plan on continuing to do these. Please come back and watch me again.